OK, so front pages this morning. We are not alone, ladies. Is this good or bad? Scientists have uncovered breakthrough evidence that life exists beyond our planet. Does that involve the aliens that we kind of assume, the little green kind of monsters walking around? But there's some sort of life. I mean, it's the front of certainly most of the papers today. And it's a Cambridge astrophysicist. I mean, that sounds smart anyway, so they clearly know what they're talking about. But yes, they're saying that this is a huge leap forward in the quest to find extraterrestrial life after studying a planet whose atmosphere seems to contain a gas that on Earth is uniquely produced by living organisms. So there is something.
It's credible. I haven't got a clue.
Do we want to hear about it? I mean, how do you feel about it, the sort of confirmation as such?
I have no doubt that there are... I have no knowledge, but I've no doubt that there are aliens. I can't believe that this is it. Like, we're great, but we're not, like, that, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I am exactly with you. No knowledge, but yes, we can't possibly... We thought the Earth was flat not that long ago.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Sadly, some people still do. Don't come at me.
Yes.
And if space is infinite, that means there's an infinite amount of possibilities, which means that life should exist and life that can contact us should exist. And for some reason, they've decided not to. I believe that there are aliens out there who've flown past Earth and gone, do you know what, I might not bother.
That's a mess.
Yeah, well, that's very true. You just don't want to suddenly start hearing that Elon Musk is sending rockets out. Maybe they're very happy with what they've got out there. You know, we don't need to be...
Well, when you think about the fact that Jeff Bezos was saying, oh, he wants to go into space so that we can send all of our waste, all of our rubbish into space. Well, I'm sorry, start spending your money on curing cancer, helping people here on Earth rather than sending a bunch of celebrities into the orbit.
Yeah, it's a very interesting... You can imagine a lot of scientists incredibly excited about that today. I mean, it is huge news, but, I mean, space has obviously been dominating the headlines this week, with the all-female space crew, of course, on Monday. This has inspired Gemma Collins, and she has shared her dream space team. So it includes Alison Hammond, Denise Welsh, that's a good one, Natalie Cassidy, Carol Vorderman. That's a good, strong female lineup.
Yeah,
they all bring different qualities. I can understand why she would have picked all of those women. Emily, who would you pick?
OK, so I don't think I should be in charge of this decision. I've got to stress that from the off. And I think I would go to NASA and I'd be like, who's your best? And can they come with me, please?
That's cheating.
OK, I thought you'd say that. So then I thought I needed a legitimate astronaut, so I thought Emily Cannellini could come with me. And then I thought, it's space. This is really cool. Maybe Louis Theroux should come for the, you know...
Yes, and good conversation.
Well,
yes.
And then I just thought Robbie Williams, because I love him. I thought he'd have some fun.
Just for the fun.
Yeah, just for the fun.
Incredible. Look at you guys there.
I know. Oh, there we go.
That's a dream team.
That is how the dream team would look.
Yeah, that's better than I imagined, actually.
What about you, Nicola?
I've gone for a slightly different route. I've gone for Brian Cox, the physicist, so that he could sort of explain everything to me. I've also gone for Brian Cox, the actor, because he plays a millionaire in Succession, and apparently that's the only qualification you need to go into space nowadays. And then I've just gone for Brian Blessed. For the laughs, really. And can you imagine the sort of expletives that will come out of that man's mouth once we break through the atmosphere?
Absolutely.
A lot of Brians.
Well, there's not been an all-Brian space mission for quite some time, so I want to represent
I'd need
the
someone to make me laugh. I'd be nervous. I'd have to bring my husband, and then I'd have to, like, a Steve Carell or a Nikki Glass or some. I need funny just to get me through stress.
I need to stress, I don't want to go.
No.
I've absolutely no intention. Absolutely,
no.
yes. I don't know, Now, this is an interesting one, ladies. It's sort of hot off the heels of Adolescence. Everyone was talking about the effect it's had. It's a brand new drama. It's called The Stolen Girl. It's about a young girl who gets abducted whilst on a sleepover. It's prompted so many viewers to ask if we should be just letting our children have sleepovers. Is this just... I mean, it's something we all did as years ago, but sadly, in this kind of current situation, everyone's very nervous about everything. What are your thoughts on it, Nicola?
I think it completely depends person to person. Worth pointing out that this story is far-fetched. It's not based on a true story. It is a drama and written for that purpose. But like you say, it sparked this important conversation. You have to trust the people that are spending time with your children day to day, as well as overnight, of course. You should be asking questions of who's going to be there, what are the rules in that house, are there going to be older siblings, friends present? But most importantly, I think, and look, I've only got a 1-year-old, you know, so I'm very new at this parenting stuff, and she's too young to go on sleepovers, obviously. You have to have a really open conversation with your child and make sure that they're able to come to you if they've got any concerns, if something's gone wrong, and make sure they've got their phone on them so that they can call you at any time, even if they're just a bit scared of the dark and they want you to come and pick them up. You have to have that open channel of conversation with a child so that they can talk to you about what their concerns are.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's all common sense approach, isn't it? You know, that's just the way it should be. But like we say, it gets people talking, and it's just another thing, sadly, the parents have to worry and consider.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's a new thing. That's the thing. You know, obviously we're seeing dramas like Adolescence, we're seeing shows like this, and it's like, unfortunately, the stats showing violence against girls and women are really high. So it's like, yeah, it's far-fetched, and it's kind of not. You know, these are real-world worries, which is so depressing and frustrating. And I'm the same as you. I've got a 2-year-old, so I'm like, in my head, I'm like, yeah, I'm never going to do that. And then when she's 11 and she's going, please, 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 I'm going to go, OK, fine.
But that's the problem. It's the age in which you start to allow these things to happen. It's like when you give them a phone, you know, all of a sudden all their friends are doing it, and then they're the one that's left out. It's those discussions that will be happening amongst parents and children, particularly over Easter holidays as well.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you don't want them to go, and it's a tough thing to not let them.
It's hard. I actually remember, now it's just come back to me, being about 13 or 14, and there was a house party going on in a town next to where we lived, and I wasn't allowed to go, and all my friends went. And I remember being so devastated. I spent the whole night crying that I wasn't going to be part of this party. And I look back now and go, thank God I didn't go to that. Oh, you hear the stories of what went on, and of course at the time you're like, oh, I wish I was there. Now as an adult I go, I don't think I should have been exposed to that kind of activity and behaviours that were going on, because there were no parents at that house. My mum and dad knew that, and they were smart enough to go, you're going to sit this one out. And as hard as it must be as a teenager to want to go, I really want to be there, think long term, you know, it's not the end of the world.
No, I know. Just try telling your 13-year-old self
Exactly,
that. This is the
Sorry.
problem, isn't it? Now, this is another interesting one. Weight Watchers, gosh, been around for how long, is facing bankruptcy as more people are turning to weight loss jabs. Our attitudes to the whole dieting culture, health in general, it's just constantly changing, Emily.
It is. I mean, I find this... initially, you want to kind of be like, well, that's a positive, that we're kind of like making peace with our bodies and we don't, maybe Weight Watchers isn't so needed anymore. And then you think, actually, you realise where everybody's going.
Yeah,
how,
it's an alternative.
Yeah, GLP-1s are sort of becoming such a boom. And it's hard. You know, we saw Weight Watchers shift into WW a few years back, I think, kind of trying to keep up with the sort of body confidence movement, a change in kind of attitudes towards diet culture. And we're seeing people now going in their droves to drugs like Ozempic, and so much of that is privatised. And whilst it's amazing for so many people, and I know a lot of people are really, really happy on it, I worry that there's not a lot of support within that. You know, that it's not entirely regulated as it should be necessarily. And for its flaws, Weight Watchers was a community, and I worry maybe that without the community element, when we're accessing drugs like this, that's a little concerning.
Yeah, that's
Sure. I think that with any health-related matter, and weight is about health and happiness, you have to have a holistic approach to it. And simply, you know, getting a drug and injecting, if you don't need to, especially if it hasn't been properly prescribed, it's putting people, especially women, in a really vulnerable position. And I think, like you say, the sense of community that happened at Weight Watchers meetings was a good thing. It was a flawed system, of course, because there's a pressure on certain things.
I think as well, you worry with a community that's focused on weight loss, when you're adding drugs to the mix, perhaps that's actually quite a dangerous incentivization to, you know, it's always who's lost the most weight and the biggest loser or whatever.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily want that sort of thing when you're including weight loss drugs. It's a really, really interesting time.
And it's the concern, isn't it, at the end when you stop taking the drugs. I think there's not an awful lot of discussions about that. You can't continue forever and ever.
It is a lifetime drug.
Well, for some people, but for those maybe taking it with, you know, just for the weight loss, you wonder what happens if you want to stop it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. I mean, it's you're supposed to be on it for like, that's sort of that's how it works, really. And I don't know how people are going to afford, you know, thinking about how much of it's privatised. Can people afford to take it forever?
No. Very true.
And there's not enough around, there's not enough supply for the people who need it, who might be diabetic and need it for other medical purposes. There's people who just want to look good for an event, for example, who are taking it in their mind, who are taking it for the short term and taking those supplies away from people who really need it.
Yeah. Now, it has been 6 months since the death of Liam Payne, and his girlfriend, Kate Cassidy, has been speaking on the latest episode of Jay Shetty's podcast about their final moments together. ITV News entertainment reporter Rishi Davda is here. A very emotional listen all around, really. 6 months, it's still very raw.
It very much is. Kate's been kind of documenting her grief with posts on social media and also by doing interviews. I know she came on here to speak about mental health as part of the March for March campaign. 6 months since Liam passed away. She was with him just 2 days before he died in Argentina. Liam's sister Ruth also posted on social media reflecting on what she's gone through in this half a year since she lost her younger brother. So it was the Purpose podcast, which Jay Shetty does, and that's where Kate really opened up once again and spoke about how she finds comfort in the last interaction she had with Liam.
It's just sad, isn't it? It's just sad.
I think for her, speaking about what happened is a kind of form of catharsis and allows her to try and grieve and move on. And I think Liam's fans also like hearing what they went through together, their journey, and how she feels now that it's, you know, come to an end very, in a completely shocking way and far too soon.
Yeah, very, very much so. Time magazine. Now, it has released their list of the most influential people. We missed out again. But yes, it's always interesting just to kind of glance over the names, isn't it? And what they've done to be on the list.
Well, so the most influential people list has been going since 1999. There are a number of categories. This year, in the artist category, Ed Sheeran is honoured alongside Kristen Bell and Scarlett Johansson too. You can move on to the icon category, which brings you Demi Moore and Adrian Brody, and as well Giselle Pellicott. So quite a diverse list there.
Yeah.
In the leader category, Donald Trump, Elon Musk and Sir Keir Starmer. And then you've got the Titans list, which has gymnast Simone Biles, tennis legend Serena Williams, and also Blake Lively. The actress has had a pretty tough year, lots of controversy surrounding the Justin Baldoni court case, but she will still feel, you know, there's real prestige to be honoured on a list such as this.
Absolutely, yeah. And is there reasonings for the choices ever with particularly the Titans one? That's
well,
an
so
interesting
they always
category.
analyse what they've done over the past year, looking at their influence in the wider world, positive things they've done, work that they've produced that's done very well, and the influence that they've had on fans and encouraging people into sport, music, whatever it might be. But I wanted to ask, if you had to choose, would you rather be on an artist list, an icon list, the leader list, or a titan?
Well, I could take any of them, really, but I'd love to be on an artist list, only because I can't sing and I wish I could. That would be a beautiful one to be in there with Ed Sheeran. Oh, my gosh, that would be fabulous. But to be an icon, wow. But, yeah, we can all dream, can't we?
I think for me it's Titan.
It would be flattering, any of them. Titan for you?
Titan. Do we have to put that on the CV?
That would sound, the Titan that is.
The Titan of industry.
That's exactly. That's what I think as you walk in the studio. Don't worry. Right, another Titan is Alan Carr. He's back tonight with another episode of Interior Design Masters. He's just brilliant, isn't he? He's just so funny. I love him.
Absolutely amazing. So tonight on the show, we see the 9 remaining designers turn shipping containers in Bristol into offices for creative startups. But slightly away from that, let's take a look at Alan Carr channeling his inner Tom Cruise for the show.
He's a natural.
Yeah, he's so naturally funny.
He's so good.
As is Tom Cruise, I hear, so they do have that in common.
Absolutely, exactly, yeah. Best friends. Now, this is a very interesting friendship, and a really nice one, in fact. Explain this. This is H and Ronnie Wood. Yeah,
there are some peculiar celebrity friendships out there. We think about like Elton John and Eminem, and you've also got Helen Mirren and Vin Diesel. But this is one we maybe weren't expecting. Rolling Stone, Ronnie Wood, and Ian Watkins from Steps. So
it'll always be H to me. But
or H. Well, speaking to Bizarre, H said that he's been friends with Ronnie's now wife, Sally, for like 20 years. She then married Ronnie. They had twins at a similar sort of time. They used to FaceTime loads and loads of different occasions. And then they started meeting up in person as well. He did admit he's not fully sure that Ronnie understands what Steps is and what they do, but he does refer to him as H when they speak and would really like to teach him some dance moves in the future. If you could pick a celebrity friend to have, who would you choose?
Oh, goodness me. I love my funny people. We're talking about Kristen Bell or Kristen Wiig. Nikki Glaser mentioned earlier. Yeah, anyone that's funny. I go back to that, I admire that.
I think I'd have to say I'd want to be friends with one of the Beckhams.
Well, why not?
They seem to live a great life.
They have a fabulous life, and it's Victoria's birthday, isn't it?
It is.
Yes.
She's 51 today.
Oh, my goodness.
And
yes.
David posted on social media some lovely photos of the two of them together. There they are, kissing in the pool. But also, there was one where they showed her at a very, very young age, and people couldn't believe how much she looked like Romeo.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah,
Yes, I can
strong
see it
genetics,
already. Yeah. Very, very
She
similar.
had a mega birthday for her 50th, big party. Who knows what she's going to do this year.
Hi there. Thanks for watching our YouTube channel where we upload new videos every single day. You can click here if you're interested in this video or head to the homepage for some more amazing content.